welcome everybody. This is a kickoff meeting of our Reswell-VUCAH Working Group. Reswell is an initiative, is a collaborative initiative from University of Tel Aviv, and several of us were already in Reswell, which is a cooperation, cooperative research group. I think we are now more than 50 in 17 countries in different subjects. And Reswell, I propose Reswell to create a group about VUCAH, resilience and well-being. And they asked me to lead that group, and that's what brings us to tonight. But what we do is in cooperation, in coordination with University of Tel Aviv. So I'm Gerard Meyer. I am a physio-psychologist. I am the CEO and the co-founder of the Mental Wellness Society. And I'm the former president and CEO of Carnegie Mellon University, the Driver Training and Safety Institute. So this kickoff meeting is each member will introduce himself and share their hope and vision for this group, agreeing on a logo, which you have already above the page, a vision, a mission, and goals. We'll have a short presentation by Mia about psychological and physiological effects of each of the VUCAH components. Salome will share about our cooperation with Georgia. We will be speaking about the example of Israel, where we are monitoring, and we want all of you to be more involved in understanding on validating the tool and the situation, how people are massively impacted with PTSD, anxiety, and how we are helping the population here. We want to hear about new projects, and should we have one meeting a month? That was one of the questions. So it's time for you to introduce yourself, and I will ask you, each of you, to introduce yourself. So we'll start with Anna Isabel within the left corner. She is calling us from Ecuador, and we'll go from there. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. Okay, thank you. My name is Anna. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist. I have a Ph.D. in social science. Currently, I'm teaching in 3 universities, and I am seeing patients. I am no longer doing forensic work. And regarding my expectations of this group, I think that in these times, as well as in past times, conflicts, war, poverty, climate change, violence, and so on, I hope that we can increase the knowledge that can help people cope and survive in difficult times.
Thank you so much. And obviously, we know you because you are extremely involved. You and actually the next speaker, which will be Annunciata, and you and Annunciata are part of the Mental Wellness Society Spanish tribe. And the Spanish tribe have a lot of activity. I've been doing a lot of training in this time about resilience. And I have to say that I know that your group is doing a fantastic job. Yeah. Annunziata is in Italy.
Yes, I'm Italian, but work a lot in Latin America. I'm a psychologist, and I carry out research for several governmental organizations and for projects promoted by European Commission, especially in the field of human capital, education and training, and mind-body integration according to cognitive neuroscience approach. I'm a member of VUCAH, is a Bureau of Neurocognitive Science based in USA and Latin America, especially in Argentina, and I work with UMSA, that is a university based in Argentina, in Italy too.
Thank you so much. I have to say to our members that, 2 months ago, when I proposed Annunziata to be part of our group, she immediately said yes. 3 days later, I had a paper with a proposition about sustainable resilience and so on. And I will share it with everybody after this meeting, because what she did was really a great quality job. Dr. Groh.
Thanks.
Much for this invitation. Just briefly about myself. I'm a psychologist with a focus on cultural psychology. I teach at the Technical University of Berlin, and in between I teach here and there at other universities too. Actually, when I received this invitation, I became sort of curious when I looked at the acronym and what's behind this: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, hyperconnectivity. And I thought, well, this is very much it sort of characterizes the state of my present students, especially after COVID. This is how they are. What is said in this acronym. So, and then I thought about, well, how can I contribute to this research group? It will be difficult to do this with indigenous peoples, who are in the focus of my research. So I go to Africa, Latin America, etc. in between. It would be very difficult to involve them in any survey. But what I could do is, if there's any survey from this research group, I could involve my students and ask them to participate. So those data will be very interesting for, I think, for everyone who's teaching in sort of globalized context universities right now, because the students are becoming stranger and stranger at the moment. I don't know what the other is. Someone, Dr. Kelly is nodding. So
no,
yes,
not
I think
only
it's a global
the
problem.
Everybody is, trust me, everybody is in a situation lately of being under VUCA, and that's part of what we will be speaking. Salome.
Which one? There are two of us.
The one I know.
Okay.
The one who come after Dr. Groth on the metrics.
Okay, I will introduce myself. I am Salome Dumbadze. I'm a psychologist. Currently, I'm pursuing my degree, my PhD degree in positive psychology. I am academic staff of Georgian Institute of Public Affairs, and also I have my private coaching practice. And basically, right now we are already involved in this project and in the VUCAH group that I will introduce to you later during the presentation. It's nice to meet all of you, and thank you for attending this meeting.
Salome number 2.
Hello, I'm Salome. I'm a little nervous because I'm very new in this sphere. I just finished my master's in psychology, specifically political psychology, and now I plan my PhD for next year. So I don't think I have a whole vision to share right now, but I don't have that much experience, but I'm very interested in this particular topic. I'm very passionate, and I think it's really important, and contributing it makes a very, very meaningful change. So I can't wait to work with you, and thank you for this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kelly, I need to make full disclosure. Dr. Kelly, I've been a colleague from the very beginning of the Mental Wellness Society. We became friends. We were involved together with the task force to help Ukraine. We have been doing a lot of things together, and we became good colleagues and even partners. So my relation with Dr. Kelly is a lot of, I'm very grateful of being supportive of everything we do. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful and such an honor to meet all of you here today. I am a clinical psychologist and a clinical neuropsychologist in the United States. I work in Connecticut, New York, and Florida. Right now I'm calling you from Florida, which is a nice place to be right now. I'm also very involved in Mental Wellness Society from really from the start of it during COVID. I'm also very honored to be the chair of the Mental Wellness Society Parenting and Education Committee. I also served as the co-chair of the Helping Ukraine Task Force. So I'm also certified as a positive psychologist. I have a Ph.D. in health psychology and neuropsychology and was a former NIH and NCI fellow that did cancer research. And actually much of my research was on resilience and future orientation of young adults. So this is really exciting for me to be here and be part of this team. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna.
Good evening. My name is Anna Gijonaya, and I'm delighted to be here today. I hold my bachelor's and master's degree in psychology. I recently graduated master's in GPA, political psychology, and I'm a young researcher, eager researcher to contribute to this exciting project. Currently, I'm employed in a crisis center, working with a child who were abused by their relatives or people surrounded them. And thank you, Mrs. Manana, to inform us about this project. And once again, I'm happy to work with you.
Thank you so much. Mia, I need to introduce Mia. Mia is a coordinator of our group, and she's working with Salome and also Manana. But Mia volunteered to make an internship with us, and we are very lucky to have her with us for hopefully at least a year. And she is coordinating the effort of this group. So she is the boss, not me. She is taking care of everything. So if you don't receive the mail, not my fault. It's her fault. So Mia, introduce yourself.
Hello. Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Mia, and as you already know, I will be the coordinator of the VUCAH Reswell group. I'm a psychology student. It's my second year of bachelor's degree. From Georgia, Tbilisi, and studying at the Georgian Institute of Public Affairs, GPA. So I think and I believe that working together with this group will be interesting and amazing for me. So, and you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Manana, wonderful Manana. You know, Manana, your little notes of support during the war in Israel goes directly to our heart and is very, very important to us. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you and good evening. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very grateful and I feel really privileged to be a part of Reswell and a part of this group. I work at the moment, I work for the Georgian Institute of Public Affairs, GPA, as my other Georgian colleagues are. And also together with Salome, we are working for Tbilisi State Medical University. There is a group of psychologists that we are involved in. My background is in linguistics and in psychology. For years, more than 40 years, I'm quite old. More than 40 years, I have been working in the field of neurolinguistics and neuropsychology with in rehabilitation of people with aphasia. More recently, maybe some 20 years ago, because the situation in Georgia was like demanding for this branch of psychology, I started also working in the field of psychotraumatology. And it is not very far from my field because I was working and I have been, and now I'm working primarily with aphasia, which is a long-term outcome of stroke or TBI, traumatic brain injury, which is also psychotraumatic phenomena. Even more recently, I became I just paced with the world tendency and we started all with trauma, and then we just opened our eyes and our minds, and we saw that resilience is maybe even more important than trauma phenomena. And so I'm now working with resilience for and with my patients with aphasia. VUCAH Group is important for me for this syndemic tendency, because people with aphasia, at least most of them, were even more vulnerable during pandemics than other people. In these turbulent times, even more, these are people who now we have changed our vectors in rehabilitation. We are no more, when I'm saying we, I mean neurolinguists and neuropsychologists, we are not that focused on full recovery, because it is very often impossible. We are more focused on functional ability, to strengthen functional ability and resilience of people with aphasia and their family members. So I think that VUCAH can contribute to this field too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Donkin, that I know pretty well for many years.
Many years.
Dr. Donkin is in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I let you explain you.
Well, it's an honor to be invited with this group of many amazing people, Gerard. I appreciate that. And I look forward to learning and sharing and growing with everybody. I've known you, Gerard, for about a quarter century or more, when I was your advisor, one of your advisors at Carnegie Mellon University, and developing the health and wellness department. And a lot of that research and study has developed into concepts and content that you use throughout the world now in the Mental Wellness Society. I personally have been a chiropractor in Lincoln for 42 years and counting, full-time. In addition, I write books. Gerard and I co-authored a book a couple of decades ago called Peak Performance, Body and Mind, How to Make Your Body Last a Lifetime. Optimizing the use and function of the body. I've practiced also with occupational health and working with companies, but in my general practice, I work with helping people develop physical resilience and within the work that I do, mental resilience as well. And so I'm actually excited to combine working to help people build mental and physical resilience as they work in a world of VUCAH. And just so you know, VUCAH affects the world. It clearly affects the world. It affects us in our community here in Nebraska, as well as Israel, as well as Georgia and Ukraine. So it's a global shared experience that we can work through to get to the other side of it better and stronger than before, which is the essence, I believe, of why we're here together. So I'm excited
Maybe
to
in one word,
together.
can you explain how you migrated from your practice where you see 1,200 patient a month to create M3?
Oh, well, taking the content from the research of Carnegie Mellon and Gerard combined that with other aspects of the data gathering and the research that he continued to mine from that data, and the additional relationships created the Mental Wellness Society. M3 Plus, the Mind, Movement, Mood, Wellness, Wellbeing Center that's in my office, is the practical application of and clinical application of the concepts and content embraced by Mind Focused Coaching, Mental Wellness Society, as well as devices that we use that have been scientifically validated to help people with anxiety and stress and PTSD and panic, and so that we can break through things that are holding people back and build resilience. And so that brick and mortar location, the first one is here in Lincoln in my office, which I work daily in an effort to make sure that what we represent, to others is verified in a practical setting as well. Not
Thank
just
you. I wanted to explain that because all of our colleagues are researchers, and we are all researchers. So I wanted to make that clear that you are the guy doing clinical research for us.
the boots on the ground, if you will.
Yeah. So David.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be in a group of psychologists, since once upon a time, people might have called me a psychologist, though as a renegade, generally they disown me. The kind of psychology I used to do, or still do in some ways, is about how people adapt to complexity. And the settings are all kinds of places where people have to operate risky systems. Space, aviation, hospitals. But in many ways, the people that I study, interestingly, are not as we say, the people on the sharp end of systems who confront many of the VUCA points. I mean, I've been looking at VUCA, maybe not the H so much initially, for 44 years now. Starting with major accidents in industries and how they perplex everyone, and how they try to rationalize what happened to them. And a few people seek to revise and reframe their models of themselves and the world they live in. Often this was driven by notions of how do we produce safety when we operate complex systems, but they're all for human purposes. So we, in some sense, have a large body of work. But the hidden subject of the studies really are people in all kinds of roles as stakeholders, as managers, as executives, and how they react to shock. And we see varieties of adaptation, patterns of adaptation. And we talk a lot now in the last 20 years since resilience started to become popular about adaptive capacity. And it's sort of the old story, right? When do people adapt? When they have to. Except that's not really the way it works. And as in one recent piece, actually for a mostly psychology audience, is we talked about the issue is, what direction do they adapt? Are they retrenching, retreating, trying to go back into their comfortable model of how they relate to their world and how their world is organized? Versus, are they revitalizing? Are they moving forward? Are they building on their past and their role in whatever organization activities they carry out? Are they moving forward? And this involves psychology of reframing. And reframing is a very interesting capability that people can do, but don't always do. It's actually very difficult to do, but we can do it. And interestingly, machines can't, despite our tendency to want. In fact, VUCA is in many parts powered by, excuse me, the introduction of more and more technologies which partially create that hyperconnectivity, and that powers and changes everything. So to put it in a psychological frame here, an American psychologist that I studied when I was back in school many decades ago, Jerome Bruner, summarized his psychology near the end of his career as trying to understand how people came to see order and structure in their world. Unfortunately, I have the quote, but I don't have it quite memorized. And my experience in these areas, studying how people adapt to cope with complexity, I would say, if you wanted to say I had a psychological stance after all these decades, it would be, how do people adapt when the world has, when they have experienced a shock to how they thought they had ordered and made a stable understanding of the world they operate in, and how they react to that shock, right, and come to re-understand, re-comprehend, reorganize their world. And what particular is interesting to me is this: how do you support a revitalization perspective versus a retrenchment? In terms of this group, I have one very particular topic that motivates me. And it's a question. And the question is, how do we respond? And this builds on Elinor Ostrom's Nobel Prize winning, or Nobel recognized her body of work over her career. One of her key notions is reciprocity, and how human systems operate effectively when there is some development and faith in each other, that there will be a reciprocity, especially a demonstration of reciprocity when we experience stress. So mutual assistance kind of perspective. And what the pandemic has shown me that I didn't understand, and events since, VUCA kinds of things, is that reciprocity is inherently asymmetric. If you think in the pandemic, the clinical frontline workers and quote essential workers, they bore the risks, they bore the burdens, they died, became sicker and died at higher rates. And how do we in other roles respond when we can't be reciprocal in a direct or balanced way? How are we organized so that people will act and take on burdens for the larger community? And how should that larger community interact with those who must take on higher burdens and risks as we cope with shock events, change, volatility, these factors under VUCA? I don't think we understand at all how to make this asymmetry create a new kind of balance. The forms of direct balance we used to talk about reciprocity can't apply in a world where VUCA is the dominant characteristic. And so it's a puzzle that requires us to come from many different perspectives, to not just think about the wellness of individuals as they experience continuing stress, but rather to think about that all these as relationships across layers. That hyperconnectivity means there's layers, and we have to think about the layers and cross-layer interactions in parallel. So we have to, yes, it gets really hard, and it gets really hard to do research. And it gets really hard to convince the people who fund research that they have to approach it in a whole new way, to start to integrate across these layers and to tackle these kinds of questions like, how do others, right, balance the inherent asymmetries when our societies experience large-scale, regional, community-wide shock events?
Thank you, David. I hope we'll get answer to you at another time. I would like to have a conversation with you because there is some common point with the research we have been doing at Carnegie Mellon for driver training safety. And there is some element. On one of the elements we will be explaining tonight on what of the things we do is a very simple 4 words.
Great.
You end up where you look. And you don't look with your eyes, you look with also your cognitive vision in addition to your visual field of vision. And what stops you in a shock is tunnel vision effect. But we'll speak on that in a few minutes. I would like to ask Deborah Veronica Alcocer if she's still with us to introduce herself. Veronica, are you with us? Yes. You are in Mexico. Where are you? You are muted. You are muted. You are muted. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. Deborah, you need to unmute. We cannot hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I can do it. Now you can hear me?
Yes,
Sorry.
where are you located?
Okay, sorry. Yes, my name is Veronica, Deborah Veronica Alcocer. I'm living in Utah. Yeah, I am Mexican, but I'm living in United States for a long time. And I'm here to enjoy this group and learning more about everyone.
You are a psychologist.
Yeah, I am coaching, and I had another I don't know how I can call it. I'm studying too for I don't know if you hear about focusing. I help people to know his body, about traumas, about pain, about sickness, to recognize every pain, and that's what I help people too. And I help women too to have abuse, sexual abuse, or sorry, traumas and anything since a was child, and if to find out how we can help the people to take out to those traumas, to those places they are for a long time, and help it to enjoy the life. And I don't know how can explain this. It's like we put it depend the trauma in a groups over here in the group where we work. Depend what kind of trauma they have, what kind of abuse they have, and we help them with other people and talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Actually,
welcome.
rape, problem of miscarriage, problem of abuse is something we have every day in time of war. We have been helping in Ukraine, and unfortunately, this is now on our doors in Israel. Speaking of Israel, I will ask Dr. Wallach, who join us in no more than 2 minutes, because we are more than overpassed on the program we were thinking. If you can explain who you are and what you do, and particularly maybe put an accent on the biofeedback that you are using in addition with psychology, and that you are involved in research.
My name is Joseph Wallach. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist trained in the United States, now living in Israel for the last 7.5 years. My background is in what's called CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, and I also trained in EMDR. And I have done biofeedback and done research with biofeedback, and I use it as one of the tools with clients to help give them the confidence that they can relearn to regain control over their own physiological arousal. So we'll look at things like heart rate or heart rate variability, respiration. Those are very basic surface responses on the physiological arousal that people can pay attention to and they can learn to monitor. Sometimes using things like their own cell phones nowadays to look at their heart rate as part of a therapy process when people are learning relaxation techniques, but also when they're doing exposure for trauma using EMDR. So when we're beginning to do the preparation, we can look at how their body's reacting. But we can also use that with other coaching approaches or other therapeutic initiatives to get an idea how the person is reacting, and then also they can see how they can get control as they're calming down during the therapeutic process.
Thank you. So with that said, I made a miscalculation. I was thinking that this introduction will be 12, 15 minutes long. It was 42 minutes long. And as a result, we will go quick into the program we prepare, but anyway, you will receive the PowerPoint that we had. We will go quicker in the different slides. On many of them, when there was a longer text to read, we'll send it to you for you to react. One important element, our group is 25 people all over the world, Australia, everywhere. And not everybody could join tonight, but I want to thank you for being here tonight. But the group is active and it's 25 experts. And I'm not looking to get anybody more to join because it's important to get the group to work together. And that's why more important than to go through the program we prepare was to let you speak and be able to understand each other, because that's the main element as a group we want to develop. Now, with that said, we are coming back to our program, and I need to go to share view. I need to go in share screen. Back to the program. Voila. So we did that. So we have to agree on the logo. And I believe if nobody have any negative point of view, it will go very quick. The logo is the Reswell logo in association with the Reswell Well-being, where we show the world and we explain, because many people don't know what that VUCAH is for: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, hyperconnectivity. So if everybody agrees on that logo, please say hey. If you don't, say no, and we'll go from there. If there is no, we move on that subject. No? Okay. So the idea of Reswell and our group is to catalyze a change by turning visionary ideas into implementable action. And that's very important because we don't want to be researcher to research. We want to be people who help to improve functionality of the people. And really, functionality is the key. So our working group, VUCAH group, is to work also on holistic synergy, where we all have a different toolbox, and we want to bring that with expertise in research, in education, metacognition, because it's much better than the old psychology method. Iconic communication, that is very interesting because there is things, speaking about linguistic, we cannot explain with words, particularly when we have difference of culture, resonance therapeutic, and more. So this group, we have a vision statement. I will send you the vision statement after the meeting, so you can eventually add things, move things, make suggestions, but I think we don't have the time in this meeting to go in the detail, but I would like to get your point of view as well on the mission statement. But the key of the mission statement is we want to focus on research and innovation, collaborative partnership, education with empowerment, inclusivity, accessibility, ethical and sustainable solution, impact on advocacy, and positive parenting and communication. So with that, Mia will briefly, I will ask Mia not to go in the detail of the text, but to go through her slides, because we will send it to everybody after the meeting, and we will send the complete document. Mia.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about syndemic within the context of VUCA and the consequences of each element of the VUCA. So syndemic is a phenomenon that emphasizes the distinctive nature of co-occurrence of multiple epidemics. It refers to the interaction of multiple health issues and social, economic, and environmental factors. So rather than focusing on individual diseases, it combines these diseases and recognizes that we need to address these issues in a more holistic way. So we already know the components of VUCA, and that these elements are the characteristics of the modern world. So I will try to discuss each element and their psychological and physiological effects. First is volatility. So rapid and unpredictable changes, such as shifts in technological advancements and changes in social and behaviors and norms can lead to health challenges emerging quickly. So such psychological consequences of volatility can be chronic anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and irritability and restlessness. Physiologically, volatility can contribute to increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, muscle tension, and over time, this can contribute to cardiovascular problems. The next component is uncertainty. So the unpredictable nature of health challenges, along with incomplete information, can hinder effective response and mitigation strategies. Psychologically, uncertainty can fuel feelings of helplessness and powerlessness, contributing to development of depression. Individuals may struggle with decision-making and experiencing a sense of dread. Physiologically, this can cause disruptions in sleep patterns, changes in appetite, and alterations in hormonal balance, which contributes to mood disturbances and compromised immune system. The next component is complexity. So health issues are often intertwined with a complex web of factors, including biological, social, economic, and environmental factors. Psychologically, complexity can lead to cognitive overload, burnout, difficulty prioritizing tasks, and maintaining focus. Physiologically, this can lead to chronic fatigue and disrupted sleep, also digestive problems, and again, immune problems. The next component is ambiguity, which can stem from fake news, conflicting information, and evolving scientific knowledge. Physiologically, ambiguity can cause confusion, indecision, lack of clarity. Individuals may experience increased stress, frustration due to inability to interpret and understand their surroundings. Again, physiologically, this increased levels of stress hormone cortisol can potentially affect metabolism and immune function. So the last component is hyperconnectivity, which is another characteristic of modern world. And hyperconnectivity, the physiological impact of hyperconnectivity can be information overload and the sense of being constantly on. Individuals may struggle with establishing boundary, and it can also trigger symptoms of PTSD. Physiologically, conditions such as insomnia can be a result impact of hyperconnectivity, increased blood pressure, and also again cardiovascular issues.
Thank you.
These are all the elements and their effects.
So we have more on that, and we have more available, and we make more research, all of us. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. But you can see that the different elements of VUCA have different psychological and physiological consequences. So we need to address each of them individually and collectively. And that's something we verified now in Israel. So in Israel, we started with a task force with the Better Wellness Society on COVID, where we help to reduce suicide after burnout of MDs. Then we were involved in the Ukraine war, where we helped to train psychologists, and we realized that our organization will work to help provide us of safety and help for others. So that's what we have been doing. And now we do it in Israel, but we see some specific issue in Israel now. And one of the elements is the increasing factor of the hyperconnectivity by what people see on the video, which, by the way, have been posted mostly by terrorists who want to create terror by what the people see. So that's one of the elements, which is the hyperconnectivity. Is, as I told you earlier, you end up where you look. And if you look at things you should not, it will automatically create a trauma. So the amazing brain, resiliency and remediation happen here. It's where it starts. And it starts all in the brain.
4 things that can damage your mental health. You may want to save this video for later. 1, negative self-talk. Our minds are powerful, and the words we say to ourselves matter. Negative self-talk can create a storm of self-doubt and anxiety. Replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Treat yourself as kindly as you would a friend. Remember, you are deserving of love and positivity. 2, comparing yourself. In the era of social media, comparing ourselves to others has become almost second nature. But remember, everyone's journey is unique. Focus on your own progress and growth. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and use others' success as inspiration rather than a yardstick for your worth. 3, unhealthy lifestyle. Our mind and body are closely connected. Poor eating habits, lack of exercise, and insufficient sleep can impact our mental health. Prioritize self-care by nourishing your body with nutritious food, engaging in regular physical activity, and ensuring you get enough rest. 4, holding on to grudges. Holding on to grudges and harboring resentment can create a toxic environment within us. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the actions of others. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of negativity. Release the past to make space for positivity. Remember, your mind is like a garden. Nurture it with positivity, kindness, and self-awareness.
So the priority is to survive. And the adaptation we are talking is to survive and adapt to a situation we did not plan. So yes, resilience preparedness is something we can do. And that's what I hope our group can help to develop, preparedness to the different VUCA elements and to work on that. Helping others is very important. The social interaction is something very important, because on that we have seen that was damaged by COVID. And there is today a PTSD of consequence of COVID all over the world. But you can choose what you let enter in your mind, your soul, your heart. So you need to focus on what you will do after this problem, what you will do after this occurrence, what you will do after the war. So you need to focus on the destination, positive destination. So you need to take care of ourselves and others. And we need to make sure that we help others. Helping others is helping us. The key element we have seen in our experience with COVID, with Ukraine, and now in Israel, is there is a shift, and with the COVID PTSD, there is a shift from internal locus of control that decision maker have, that everybody was having in his life, but the external factors are completely eroding on the person without realizing is shifting from internal locus of control to external locus of control. And that's what we need to help to keep in balance. So your brain wants you to do something, and your brain can be the solution if you are trained, but also the brain could be the problem. You need to be very careful. So you need to be trained, and you need to recognize your default mode. All humans are mammalian, and we all react in flight, fight, freeze. But when we do that, we are absolutely not in cognition. The prefrontal cortex is not involved. There is no intelligence. So we need to learn a counterintuitive thing, which is not to be afraid and to do something which helps us to bring a solution. It's counterintuitive, but it's something we can help people and train people to stay calm. So, so the tunnel vision is a survival mechanism. And when you have anything which disturbs you, take you out of your comfort zone, there is too much information coming at the same time. It's a visual noise. And as a consequence, the hormones are closing there is hormonal change, which are immediately limiting, narrowing our attention and our vision, the physical field of vision, but also the cognitive field of vision. When we are in TVE, there is no cognition and we don't even realize it. And this is what we need to combat. So that brings to the vagal nerve, and the vagal nerve is the autonomic nervous system, but we need to bring back this autonomic nervous system which has been disturbed in a state of homeostasis. And this is all the research we have done with many colleagues on using new tools, because talking is not enough. And we need to go through some resonance therapeutic or healing music, and then we can talk with the people. We are never negatively wired because we are mammalian. We answer by flight, fight, freeze. So, and you end up where you look. So you look at what scares you. So we need to teach the people to be able to get out, not to enter in that, but to look instead of the red door, which is a place where there is a problem, to immediately think in terms of iconic thinking, to look at the green door, because everything in life is binary. You are dead or you are alive. You are inside or you are outside. So we show them. And if you don't see an alternative, it means you are you are already dysfunctional. There is 3 levels of trauma circle with adrenaline and cortisol. The people under attack, they have a lot of adrenaline because they are in flight, fight, freeze. They are in fight. They are fighting for survival. They have the energy, what helps to fight and to stay alive. But this is extremely tiring, and this is extremely stressful. But that's what we have, and what we have in Israel now for over 60 days. The bystanders are the people who see all these things happening, and they have a light level of cortisol, which makes them, they suffer because they are compassionate. And the 3rd level is the people who are remote, which are distant vicarious trauma. They have high cortisol from empathic experience, and cortisol is the hormone of depression. So the people who have members of the family in Israel who are located in America have more anxiety, cannot sleep, cannot eat, are in a mental and physical situation which is more endangering themselves. Adversity is not an invitation to helplessness. And you need to know what your emotions are alerting you to do. But it does not mean you need to do what your emotion tells you. as a human, you need to not act on that emotion, but to use your mind on what you have learned. Don't ask why it's happening, why is it happening to me, why am I suffering? You need to ask what and how. And as specialists, we can give answer to people in VUCA time of what to do and how to do. And if you don't see a choice, you don't have a choice. So you always need to see a choice. So you need to find hope, because if you have hope, it helps, it's hope who helps to survive and be able to not be traumatized. And there is an excellent book by Dr. Frankel. And when we were speaking with our colleague in Ukraine, when they were hearing the bomb, they said, we will take our passport, our credit card, and the book of Dr. Frankel, because Dr. Frankel, who created a new type of psychology, lobotomy, was able to explain that it's not the situation who makes who you are. You are who you are. And you need to remind yourself that that situation will not be what defines you. Very important. So there is resilience metrics where you need to learn to cope, optimism, hope, grit, and meaning. So now Salome will continue.
In this case, I will talk about our collaboration and where it started and how it continues and keeps going. So basically, initially with the initiative from JIPA and recommendation by Professor Gabashvili, we started working on Reswell projects since COVID-19. We were involved in the research related to war in Ukraine. And so basically our group was quite active on the Georgian side. Eventually, our VUCAH group was created. And I, with Professor Mayer and Mia, already started working in that direction. And so our today's meeting is one of the results of it. And basically, our collaboration was very fruitful personally for me and generally for our work. Right now, with the help and great support from Professor Mayer, I'm working on my PhD thesis, which will be related to the topic we are talking about right now. Its main focus is resilience to VUCA, and whatever we will be, one of the things that we will be considering and paying attention to and testing in the Georgian context are the methods that you can see on the screen. This is methodology provided by Professor Mayer. It includes mindful choice. It includes visual icons, evoke cards, as one of the evidence-based interventions that have worked in Israel, but we don't know if we will have the same results in Georgia too. So we are wondering how will it affect the students of our institution, and we kind of want to conduct an experiment to check how effective the intervention will be. And so the main focus of it is social and emotional resilience in our current context. So basically this research will be related to the main orientation of our group. Besides our work with Mia, we also have separately created Georgian group, and all of us are representatives of Georgian Institute of Public Affairs. Those are our students, our former students, ones who accomplished their master's degree, ones who are bachelors, ones who plan to do their PhD. And so there is a high interest on our side because this direction of research is not only theoretical, but has big practical value, because VUCA is something that we do not always realize. We don't always realize what kind of effect it has on our psyche and our subconscious and conscious situation and well-being. And basically, we see it as an opportunity. That's why we try to involve as many students as much as they are interested, because we can have very practical and actual results. Except for that, in the context of Israel Task Force, and with coordination with Dr. Kelly, who also attends this meeting, we are working on education and parenting project, because especially during this war in Israel, the highest problem, the biggest problem that we are currently facing is the psychological and mental well-being of children. And in the case of war, or in case of VUCA, children are quite victims of the circumstances, and parents don't always know how to relate with them or how to communicate with them, because they have a big stress of their own. So basically, we're working on online webinar or a program that will educate parents on how to communicate with children in these specific situations or contexts. And it doesn't matter on which side of the world they are. Right now, we are focused on Israel, but generally, even if the children are observers, representatives of different countries, it doesn't matter. In the VUCA world, child is something that is very important, because as far as adults are affected, imagine it's twice and thrice as much for children. So that's why we decided to work on this initiative to contribute into well-being of actual people, and use science in order to help and to show humanitarian initiative in this case. So basically, that's it on my side, and I think we can continue.
So we have done 1 hour. I propose that the members who can continue, who can stay a little bit more with us, will be 15-20 minutes max. And I encourage you to stay, but I'm continuing because we are recording this presentation. And A, we can send it to you later if you cannot continue to stay with us. And B, we are sending it to all the members who could not join today. As you know, we are 25 now members. So I'm continuing with what we had on the program, if you don't mind. So here is a task force in Israel, and we are monitoring VUCA, because for us, it's VUCA on steroid situation. We have a website, we have Zoom channels, 10 of them, which have been, we succeed to obtain 10 channels where we can have, at any time of the day, 500 people to be part of that. So it's an element, important element. So our psychology task force is not just helping people in Hebrew. The website is in Spanish, in English, in French, in Georgian, even though the automatic translation is not too great, and in Arabic. And we have also an Arabic channel to help people. And particularly, the Arabic channel is taking a big step forward in education. So this is the things we do already in Israel. We realize that maintaining health and wellness is very important, and to limit the new news intake is very important to have a much healthier life. And for that, honestly, you need, it's counterintuitive. You must not be glued to your cell phone, because it's not even the TV now. And you need to look at it 1 or 2 times a day. That's more than enough to know what you need. And you need to know what type of information you get. and you need to get information which are curated and which are objective. And it's very difficult to find objective information today, particularly that the weapon of choice of terrorists is to show image of terror to completely destabilize people. We have a population in Israel close to 9 million people. We have 350,000 civilians on the front, which are 19 to 21 years old. Their life will be changed. There is not a single person here who don't know somebody on the front. There is not a single person here who does not know somebody who have been killed, who does not know somebody who is hostage, who does not know somebody who have been brutally murdered on October 7. So the PTSD which will come in Israel will be millions and millions of people. We know that. And we are not trying to help everybody every day, even though you will see that we have developed that we are sharing for free with all the population in Israel. But breathing, moving, eating, drinking, playing, praying, sleeping are the very most important element. And we need to know that this is the way to survive. So we are using some iconic image. They are a system called EVOCH, PSI, Psychology Skill Icon. And basically, if I had to choose one icon today with you, I will use this icon thing, and it goes very well with our situation. Your past does not determine your future. And this is something we need to understand. And that's the element in VUCA. Your past does not determine your future. And you need to adapt, not to resist, but to adapt. So we are using a collection of icons, which are designed by psychologists and which have been developed to be understood in every country. In addition to that, we have a cocktail. And the cocktail we have developed is the icon, EVOCH icon, but resonance therapeutic, because we have seen that just to speak, not good enough. And we need to stack different modality intervention. So this is one. This is vibration, a system which is in fact vibrating and working on the vagal nerve, and it helps to reestablish, to restate the homeostatic system. And we are also using another system called BOD-BTM, which is binaural signal. And the binaural signal help to calm the people and to take out the obsession, to take out the anxiety, and it's validated in laboratory scientifically. And then we have another element which very few people know about. It's created in Israel. It's called EVOCH somatic movement. Somatic movement is basically the Feldenkrais movement system. And the Feldenkrais movement system is this. It's iconic cognitive imaging on moving with awareness. And the idea is to move slowly, to move with less effort, to breathe and pay attention to the relation between your mind and your body. It's not movement, it's cognitive movement. And when we do that cocktail, we have amazing results with people who have a very severe PTSD, people who have been raped, people who are in very difficult situation. When we use that cocktail of innovative tool, we have results. And this is a proof of our group, to have people with different tools. This is exactly what we do. We take experts all over the world, and we use those experts who have a tool they master to have a bigger toolbox that we put together. So we use resonance therapeutic. You see here that when we combine the two tools, when we combine this and that, we have extraordinary results. On that, you can see Dr. Donking doing it on a patient. But we also have brainwave, and we have found that binaural signal, brainwave, are healing music. We have received free of charge to download, and I will show you the link. I will send you the link, and you can share it with your client, your friend, your family. It has been given to the Mental Wellness Society to share with everybody in Israel. The first one is the Alpha one, because it helps to reduce anxiety and let go stress. The second one is sleep, to make sure that you sleep better and rejuvenate your sleep, in addition to having a good position. We have video for that. But it's also positive awareness. The third one, it's a different frequency, which helps to wake up, have clarity and focus, despite being under attack. And what we are interested, we are asking this group to monitor what we are doing and to look at what is done and monitor, validate, document, research, have some contribution on ideas. But we want to show that together we can have an intervention to help Israel, where everybody is in trauma, the whole population, and we can help, and honestly, to have the life to continue despite the attack we are under. And when we do those things, we have results. But with your help, we want to analyze, document, predict, see what we can develop to make it available to other countries. Because after Israel, unfortunately, there will be other war in other places of the world. And we want to be able to make it available. The website will send you a link to the website. There is a lot of directive, a lot of information, what to do, how to talk to the children, how to breathe, how to sleep better. I don't have the time to do that today, but we will send you a link to the website, and we will send you a link to the website and a link to download on your cell phone the free healing music. Really works. Try it. You will see. Then you can refer to people. On the website, we also have short articles, short video about the vagus nerve, short video about tunnel vision effect. There is a lot of work on that library. Now, together, what can we do together? So we are proposing you to monitor the VUCAH situation in Israel and to share best practice and innovative approach. We started that, but any member of the group can volunteer and help in your specialty and bring your own tool or your own ideas and or your students. But we can work together to monitor and be able to explain what is happening here, because it's a VUCAH on steroid. What is it here? And there is something very different here than anywhere in the world. We are dealing with purposely a lot of horrible image that we eventually are not careful, can consume and be addicted 20 hours a day, 22 hours a day. So we have to be very careful. And also, we realize in Israel that the war is not the only element we need to resist. We had a previous precondition to the problem we are in, which was VUCAH. And that previous precondition is all over the world. 2, we would like to develop tool and instrument to measure each component of VUCAH on the combined resulting effect. It's an idea. And we would like to get members to work on it, whoever is interested. 3, from that, we want to develop monitoring and forecasting critical situation based on point 1. How can we monitor? Can we forecast a situation based on the tool we develop in 1 and 2. 4, creating a language of resilience. We realize that we need to create, and this is Manana, we need to create a language of resilience because we don't have the referral word to communicate. I solve the psychological situation with icon. I don't know if we can explain resilience in icon. We are working on it, it's tough. But first, we need to have the right words. When we know the words, we have designers specialized in computer and human interface to do the design. 4, 5, broadcasting, educating about VUCA, syndemic and existing solution. Many people have no idea that there is solution. There's many solutions. Many people don't realize how half an hour of binaural music can help you to become calm because it stops it stops the hormonal state in which you are, and it brings you peace. On other research, you might have ideas. We are interested to know about more research. And if you have any idea, we would like to know those research as soon as possible. Last question. We would like to have a monthly meeting. We are wondering, and I open the floor, now the monologue is really finished. We would like to know if we should have 1 meeting a month, everybody together, or if we should have a meeting for the western part of the world 1 time of the day, or eastern part of the world. But we think we need a meeting a month, and on the website, we have a tool for communication. We have a WhatsApp group also to communicate, but there is a lot of things we can do because the channel of Zoom we have on the website is for the group Reswell-VUCAH. And you can organize any meeting, anytime, whenever you want. I don't need to be there, but the people who are interested to create a meeting, even in Italian, for Italia, in Spanish, they already use that. But we can do something local for your country, whatever. You can organize what you want on that platform, and you can use it to communicate with people. So I would like to know if you agree, what should we do? That's the beginning of the discussion that we can expand for more. Do you agree with 1 time a month, or what do you think? Should we have 1 meeting or separate meeting? Please let me know. Who have something to say? 1 meeting? 1 meeting for East and West, or 2 meetings? 1 meeting.
1 meeting.
1 meeting. Salome.
1 meeting, and I think we should meet all together.
Okay. Mia.
1 meeting, yes.
Manana.
For me, both are acceptable, but 1 meeting is more acceptable.
No, I think 1 meeting is better. If everybody have an argument for 2 meetings, please let us know right now. But I think there is a consensus to 1 meeting a month, and we will Mia will ask people, when do you want to meet in January? And we will go by 1 meeting in January at the same time, because it works in America. It works also, does not work in Australia, but it works at least also with your country. So any question, answer? I open the floor. Now it's your turn. What do you think of our introduction for the group?
Thank you so much, Gerard. Thank you so much. This is really wonderful.
Manana, any Anything
Thank you very
resonates?
much. Yeah, I enjoyed greatly. And now I'm even more convinced that we will have very good results all together. Thank you. Thank you, Gerard, and thank you all members of
Anybody want to say a
VUCAH.
word before we finish?
I also wanted to say thank you. It was very interesting and I can't wait to start. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you too, and I hope that in future we can develop some researches about human capital too.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we need to
In the
remember,
company contest, for example.
we need to remember that the goal of life is well-being and happiness. And when you speak about VUCAH, we need to speak about how we keep well-being and happiness in a VUCAH work.
Yes, in work también.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your participation. I don't know how to thank you for embarking on this collective initiative, but I know that all of you individually have already capability to make a great contribution, but together, nothing will stop us, and I know we will make a big contribution to the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.